Without trying to sound like some sort of crazy philosopher, I think time is probably one of the most precious things on earth. I do genuinely believe that. So today what I thought I'd do is share some tips with you to save time when you're making beats on the SP404 Mark II. All these things are going to be directly on the machine. These aren't philosophies, these are actual techniques on this device. So I hope that these can speed up your workflow. I always like to try and speed up my workflow. I like to work quickly when I've got ideas. So hopefully me passing these on to you is going to kind of turbocharge your workflow as well. So the first one, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to demo this one because I'm recording out of my SP, but I can show you the setup for it and explain how it works. So if you go to Shift and 10, you can see here it says counting. But if we scroll through those options, we get one measure, two measures, and then we get wait. Now, if you set your device to wait, what that'll do is when you hit record, you can see here on my screen now it's saying wait, and what that's going to do is wait for the signal to come into the device before it starts recording. So this is really, really good for drum samples, especially because they're quite small sounds and you usually always kind of miss them when you're trying to record them manually. So this wait feature is going to be really, really good. I've only started using this week and it's so handy. It just means that you don't have to waste time going in and trimming the starter samples all the time because wait is just going to take care of it for you. So make sure you take advantage of that. It's just shift and counting. And this is a kind of menu where you scroll through. So if I wanted it off again, I would just hit Shift and 10 again. And you can see it says counting off. You have to be really fast to see that. But hopefully that's going to be a bit of a time saver for you there. Okay, the next one, and this is something that I've been banging on about quite a lot on the channel recently. And that is the new pattern copy feature that came with 3.0. I absolutely love this feature. And I'd probably say out of the updates to the pattern mode, I know there were quite a few in 3.0, that this is the one that I use the most. It just comes in so useful. So let's say we've got this pattern here. It was one that I did yesterday for my kind of horror themed video. This is the beat that I came up with. And let's say that I just wanted that, but I didn't want the drums. That's where we can use this pattern copy feature to really, really good effect to save us so much time. We don't have to redo that whole pattern over again. We can do copy, choose the pattern, then do remain, and now I can select the samples I want to copy across. All we have to do is hit them here. They're the only ones that I want. I come out of remain, I choose the pad that I want to copy to, and I press copy. And now when we listen to that back, there we go, I've got rid of all the drums from that pattern and it was just a few key combinations in order to do that. So that's going to be a massive time saver, that one. That feature has come in so handy for me. I absolutely love that one. Okay, the next tip is to do with recording in TR mode. Now, if you don't use TR mode, I don't tend to use it that much, but one thing that it can be really, really good for is quickly recording hi-hats. You can get hi-hats down so quickly, and that is something that I sometimes do find a little bit tedious. Say you've got a 4-bar loop and you're having to manually record every single hi-hat hit, especially if you're just doing it on the grid as well. So what you can do is just quickly hop into TR mode and use that in order to lay down your hi-hats, and then you can come back out of it and use the normal pattern mode for the rest of your beat. So I'm going to hit record. I'm going to hit 4 because that's what I'm going to record into. You can see here I'm on TR record mode. If you're not in that mode, hit remain to change between it. And I'm going to set this to 1 bar just to show you this example. Record. And I'm going to choose that hi-hat. And that's literally how quick you can program hi-hats in. You can do it super fast. And then obviously, like I mentioned, you can come out of that mode and record the rest of your drums in the normal way. But just for doing hi-hats, I think that's something that can get quite tedious. So that's a really, really useful little tip. So I hope that's a massive time saver for you as well. Okay, the next one is stacking MFX. Now, this is a workflow that we're having to get used to with the Mark II device. It's not something we could do on the SX. Fortunately, on the Mark II, we can stack up to 4 different effects at the same time. So this can save so much time when you're resampling, because back on the older models, we had to do one individual MFX at a time and gradually build those up. But now we can stack up to 4 at the same time. So if we had a sample, let's say that sample there, it's only short, but this should do the job. You want to go into your sample settings, Shift and 16, and you want to make sure that everything is in a line like this. You can hop between these 2 modes like this. That's going to have separate effects for bus 1 and 2, but what you want to do is have them in line like this. And then we can come out, we can put anything we want on these. So on bus 1, let's say we're going to put Crusher. And then on bus 2, maybe I'll do 404 vinyl sim. And then we can go into our effects in bus 3 and 4 as well. And you can see here that I've got 303 vinyl sim and lo-fi. So there's a lot going on now here. And all those effects are stacked up on that one sample. I can just resample that, and I've stacked 4 effects in total altogether. So that's going to save you so much time. It's a good habit to get into. Use the buses to stack effects so that you're not having to constantly resample every time you want to add an effect. Again, that's going to save you a lot of time. Okay, the last one, and this is just a short one, but I think this one is really useful as well, is you can set default parameters now on your effects. Now, this has come in on 3.0 as well, and this has saved me a lot of time. I like to have my effects set up in certain ways. Obviously, you're going to have to tweak them from time to time, depending on the sample that you're using. But on the whole, it's good to get a basis that you know and you're familiar with to put straight on the sample, and then you know you can make little tweaks. So let's say, for example, I want to use 404 vinyl sim, and my settings here are frequency 53, noise 0, and wow flutter 72. Let's go ahead and change those a little bit. Let's say we'll change this to 78, and we'll change the frequency. Let's say we'll put that at 45, shall we say? And no noise, I'm not going to put any noise on. So if you then hold shift and mark for 5 seconds, this is going to save these as the default. So let's go ahead and do that. And I don't know if you could see that on the screen because it happens very quickly, but it basically said saved MFX Param or Params. So we do get confirmation, we get visual feedback to say that that is done. And now when I go into that MFX, I know that those are going to be the default settings that I get when I use it. So there you go, guys. There's your 5 time saving tips. I really hope they come in useful for you. I hope they save you some time, and I hope they speed up your workflow as well. I'll see you all in another upload very soon.